Sometimes science advances because there are brilliant people working in a field, trying to understand something, and they know everything there is to know about it, and they have fantastic resources, the finest equipment, all the latest technology. And they work at this problem, and they either solve it outright, or they shine a new light on it that radically alters the nature of the question, and the search continues in a new direction. Other times it happens because some untrained person gets to thinking about something, starts tinkering, and comes up with an unexpected result that causes everyone, including all the brilliant, well-funded experts, to change their thinking. Antonie van Leuwenhoek was such a person. He was living in the 17th century in the Netherlands, and as a young man he opened a drapery shop, ran a successful business, and as a successful businessman he held a number of local political positions in the city of Delft. That should have been his life. But for some reason, perhaps sheer curiosity, he may have been inquisitive by nature, he began working with glass, soda-lime glass, and he made long, thin threads of it, which had no particular value or use, except he took those long, thin threads and put them back into a flame and made little glass beads. As it happened, those little glass beads were quite wonderful. He also made some small metal plates and mounted the beads on them, held them up close to an eye, and saw that the glass bead acted as a lens, magnifying whatever he placed on the other side of the glass. He continued to make these glass beads, and he became quite proficient at it. He was producing very small, high-quality glass which could be used as a lens. Mounting the lenses on the plates created microscopes. Van Leuwenhoek began to look at things, tiny things, often taken from his own body, bits of skin, blood, sperm, muscle tissue, and also mold and small extracts from plants. What he saw he found very interesting and even thrilling, and fortunately, he shared his observations with a friend, a doctor. The doctor knew enough to know that this was original work and could be important, and so he encouraged his friend to write up one of his studies in the form of a letter and send this to the Royal Society in London, England. Van Leuwenhoek did that, and the Royal Society accepted his contribution, replied to him, expressing interest in his work, further encouraging him. Van Leuwenhoek never wrote a scientific paper or a book, only the letters he sent to the Royal Society. Fortunately, they are copious, and they were preserved. They are the only record of his work. He was in his 40s at the time, decidedly not the prime of his life. But as he had compiled a number of studies with his lenses, he sent a series of letters to the Royal Society detailing each one of them. He worked alone, and he was quite secretive about what he was doing, and the quality of his little lenses continued to improve. It is estimated, I don't know how, that he made 500 lenses and 25 mounting plates. 9 of his microscopes have survived, the most powerful being 275 times magnification. It is believed, I don't know why, it must be from his reports, that he achieved twice that power. How he did this exactly remained a mystery until 1957, when someone was able to duplicate his method for creating the lenses using only such equipment and material that would have been available to van Leuwenhoek in the 17th century. With his more powerful microscopes, van Leuwenhoek began to study bacteria and other one-celled living creatures, which he called animalcules, and he reported his discoveries. This was too much for the Royal Society. They thought that promising amateur in the Netherlands was going too far, off the deep end, making things up. Tiny living creatures. They doubted his reports and rejected his observations. Fortunately, someone was dispatched to Delft, and, as we would say today, upon further review, they had to apologize. Van Leuwenhoek was completely vindicated, and an entire new world, microbiology, tiny living creatures, was open to study. He was elected as a full-fledged member of the Royal Society, not just a correspondent, quite an honor for a draper from Delft. He did not attend his induction ceremony and was never present for a single meeting. It's a remarkable story, nearly as in the case of the Royal Society, unbelievable. Famous people from around the world came to Delft to see this man and his microscopes and the new world they had discovered. He lived to be 90 years old and spent his life with his hobby, making little lenses and looking at tiny things to see what he could see, what no one else had ever seen before.